Hi, my name is Greg Stoller. I'm a master lecturer in Questrom, and I'm the director of all of our case competitions. I think that the concept of sustainable fashion is really important these days. In fact, every year for our annual 50K sustainability case competition, we choose a different theme. The 2022 theme was on recycling, and I'm pleased to let you know that the 2023 theme is going to be on sustainable fashion. So when you asked me to talk about Shein and what's happening with Forever 21 and its parent company Spark, I had to laugh because the timing of your request couldn't be any better. I think what's important to note is that this is an ethical, common sense approach by Shein to try and go from a toehold in the US market to a foothold. If you think about a little bit of business history, non-American companies, and this is not anything to do with China, have been trying to get into the United States short of doing an IPO or short of doing an all-out acquisition for several years now. 5-10 years ago, they did it through reverse mergers or through shell corporations that they would purchase the stock of an ailing US company, and magically they now had a listing on the New York Stock Exchange or on NASDAQ, and they could gain entry into the US market. For obvious reasons, the US government stepped in and said, we don't want any company to do that anymore. The way that they are orchestrating this is that by taking an equity investment, Shein that is, in Spark, which is doing business as Forever 21, they've enabled an opportunity to not only legally and ethically get in the US market, but also have an option for future growth. If things go well, they could increase their equity investment. If things go phenomenally well, they could obviously, complete the full buyout, etc. But like anything else in life, nothing comes for free. People have asked me in preparation for this interview and other associated interviews like it, what my thoughts are on the manufacturing allegations in terms of Shein. And I would comment that culture is different when you go from one country to another. Obviously, there's a worldwide set of laws where horrible transgressions such as murder and rape and stuff of that ilk are going to be illegal. Obviously, they're unethical, they're unconscionable worldwide, but how a country chooses to employ its labor force might be viewed by another country, either myopically or holistically, as not being up to their standards. Now, a government might say, if you are going to sell or distribute your products in our country, you have to comply with our set of laws, apropos to what's happening in the UK and in Europe with GDPR in terms of privacy, etc. So I'm not going to go there as to whether Shein allegedly is mistreating its workers, but I can tell you that they might be or they might not be, but ultimately my guess is they're not doing it to be unethical as much as every dollar counts in terms of retail. So again, the next order of discussion is going to be, does this make sense for these two companies? Forever 21 and Spark recently declared bankruptcy. You have Shein, who's trying to fight off these allegations. Is this really the best use of these two companies together? And I would quote Aristotle that, widely believe that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Here you have one company that's declared bankruptcy, that's trying to reorganize and live to see another day. Another company that is trying to not only supply products, much as they might for a Walmart or a Target type of distribution, either brick and mortar or online or on Amazon, where Amazon doesn't manufacture most of the stuff it sells. Now they are trying to control the pipeline in terms of not only manufacturing, but also distributing it, etc. The next layer of coverage of this is, does it matter to the average US consumer? And I would say, quoting French, ça dépend. It depends. If you are of a certain age, and I'm not going to offend anybody by saying what that age is, you were schooled believing that you should buy a new suit every year. In terms of my grandfather, he believed I should buy a new three-piece suit every year with the vest. And of course, I don't think too many people dress that way anymore. When you get down to a certain age, yes, you can buy that coveted nice new suit for men or for women, by the way, every year. But people have also discovered fast fashion. And fast fashion is fascinating right now because it used to be that lower prices automatically translated into lower quality, or lower prices indicated that you really weren't serious about the way that you dress, that you just didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. I'm not so sure that that's true anymore. I think obviously one would argue that a $500 clothing item is probably going to be better quality than a $50 clothing item, but to what end? If you're wearing the $50 clothing item once and you buy 10 of them and you wear each of them once, voila, you've gotten to $500. But also you have to believe in trends. I was also schooled in knowing that years ago, what you saw in Paris was probably going to come to New York City a year later, right? Now you're seeing people who it's no longer a albatross around somebody's neck to go thrifting. It's no longer an albatross around somebody's neck that they are going to buy a piece of clothing, wear it once and discard it. Welcome to the world of fast fashion. So I think this is very well timed, that it's not just someone who's 20 years old that wants to engage in fast fashion. Now people have a whole repertoire in their wardrobe that, depending on where they're going and what they're doing, they might ultimately look into having higher priced clothing and lower priced clothing. And again, we will talk another day in terms of whether that's 50-50 or 60-40 or 30-70 or something of that ilk, etc. The final thing I will say on this topic is that I don't think it's an all or nothing proposition. That's why I'm impressed with Shein's approach here. It's not just a matter of we bought the company and let's see what happens, much as Lenovo did with IBM's laptop division several years ago, etc. Everybody is seeing what happens. You've got Walmart and Target that are continuing to push through lower prices every day. You've got Amazon that's trying to diversify well away from books, etc., into pretty much a little bit of everything. And now you have Shein and Forever 21 that could, again, through financial options, operate stores within stores if they want to go the brick and mortar route. They could provide their own manufactured items if they want to go in the distribution route. Or they could simply look at this as a financial transaction, and you be you, we be us, and we're going to do our thing. And if Forever 21 and Spark makes money, then obviously we will get a portion of those profits through the equity that we own. So again, I think this is a very well-timed discussion. I'm so excited that the theme for the 2023 Questrem School of Business Sustainability Case Competition is going to be on sustainable fashion. And I look forward to seeing all of the different schools and all of their submissions in round 1 and in round 2. Thank you very much.